So recently, I've been seeing so many 6-person game swaps on YouTube, and since I was already being lazy, I thought no better than to get AI in to help.
How about fuck you?
So I asked ChatGPT if they were interested in participating in the game shop, and they showed great enthusiasm. But when I asked them for help, they gave me absolutely nothing. Having fought with ChatGPT for a little while to try and get a prompt that was actually useful, it finally gave me something. Shadow light, echoes of the lantern, and a basic gameplay loop that I could use and show to other AI. So straight away I opened up Studio and I asked ChatGPT how I could make the lantern that they wanted. And since I know a thing or two about Roblox, you know I had to get cooking. I made potentially the most basic torch model of all time because I'm trying to put in as little effort as possible. And then I got ChatGPT to give me the script and I copy and pasted it straight in. However, when I went to play it, all it did was this. So that's great. I got a new script in, so hopefully that should work now. Maybe I had too much faith. So I went back to ChatGPT and did what I know how to do best. Copy and paste. And once I'd done that, it started looking good. And even had a battery that ran out after a few seconds of me running around. But that was all I needed from ChatGPT. It came up with an idea, and so I was ready to move on. The first thing I had to do was relay all the information that ChatGPT gave me to DeepSeek so that it knew what to do and what the game was about. Initially I got some good ideas with a few prompts on how the game could evolve, but that quickly turned around. Hopping into the game for the first time, I didn't have much expectations because with all AI there's a few bugs, but nothing seemed to work at all. The torch had a new kind of glowy effect, but it didn't run out anymore, and when I went to the recharge booth, it did nothing either. But hey, at least it killed me. After giving DeepSeek another go at it, I knew that we were onto something, and I was certain that I'd finally get a good result from the AI. Right? Despite our differences, I'd finally got something done, so I put it all aside, and I knew that me and DeepSeek could finally get something done. Fuck this shit. It took a while, but finally, you could take out a torch, it would turn on, it would turn off after about 20 seconds, you could go up to the recharge station, recharge it, and it would turn back on, and then eventually turn back off. I still had a few more things that I needed to do to make the game playable, and then I could move on. But DeepSeek finally decided to lock in and had the comeback of the century. I gave it one prompt and when I went into Studio, it worked straight away. The light would gradually make it appear the closer you got, and it would disappear when you got further away. There was a slight issue that I hadn't anchored it, and that it wouldn't work when you had the light off. But other than that, DeepSeek was cooking. And with some newfound motivation, I realised that I could finally get this done and move on to the next part of the video. DeepSeek was on a generational run. It only took 2 or 3 attempts to get it fully working, and now every time you turned on your light, it would appear and it would disappear the moment the light wasn't on or you weren't close enough. So I was almost done. And so finally, after getting past my beef with DeepSeek, I had everything working. If you jumped on the pressure plate, then the door would open and you could go through. This meant I could finally move on to the next AI and carry on with the game swap. As a certified builder myself, and knowing that this next AI was doing the exact same job as me, I knew I had some competition. After using a reference and getting my first model, I already knew I was in trouble, as all 4 models that I had to choose from were really good. Once I had chosen one, I had to get it to reduce the triangles to 10,000, as well as add a texture to the model. And now for the big reveal, I could finally see... Yeah, I'm definitely losing my job. After getting the torch into Studio, my first task was to size it correctly so it didn't look weird on the player, as well as position it in the player's hand so that they could hold it normally. After that, I got a pressure plate model and a model for the recharge station, and I loaded them both into the game and they looked absolutely insane. Meshy was going absolutely crazy, but completely unexpectedly it met its match. And I see you in the corner wondering what it was. It was Ivy. I got completely catfished. It went from looking like this to this. And so immediately I just had to change it and resort to using this tree. But after getting a pillar and some walls, I could finally start building. And in only about 2 or 3 minutes, I had a complete little scene. It was for the first puzzle, so it wasn't meant to be very difficult. Just kind of show you how the game worked and what kind of stuff you could find in it. And I know someone's going to say, oh, it's meant to be AI. AI is meant to do the whole thing. And to that, I say, I don't care. I added a roof and a floor and finally remembered to add the Ivy script, so now when you went close to it, you could see it. Then, to avoid the game being 2 seconds long, I started making other levels. And so after a little bit of work, I finally had a second level. There wasn't much to it either. It was a bit of an obby and you just pressed a couple of pressure plates to open the door. And the third level was even lazier of me. You just had to guess which pressure plate was the right one. Although now that I think about it, it's just going to be the only one that's not visible, so there's no point even checking the other ones. Oh well. But now I had all the models I needed, so I could move on to the next AI. With my employment no longer being threatened, I could finally put my feet up, and I was given the illusion of choice. I could either accept that everyone's job is at risk of being taken by AI, and that it's a very hard thing to ignore. Or, I could just keep on making fun of coders, because their job's getting taken first. And it's really not even that I have anything against scripters, it's just that they think they're so much cooler than everyone else, and because they make a little bit more money and that they're more useful in the community, that they're so much better than all the builders. I was thinking about what needed to be added. As well, I knew I needed a new level. I couldn't really figure out what else I could do with the game, as I knew it needed something more. But that's when my good friend, Storm, being the little devil that he is, gave me an idea.
Mate, you should for sure add some monetization to, support the developers.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, and one more thing.
Yeah? What is it?
Make sure you subscribe.
The first thing I needed was a game pass, and for that I needed an icon, so I thought I'd hop into Windows Paint and go against using AI just for once and make my own little icon. Feeling good about my final work, I thought I'd hop in a call with my friend and ask him what he thought about it.
Really good, bro. You're gonna get a lot of sales with that one.
Yeah, you reckon that's cold? I thought it was pretty good actually.
Yeah, that's how you're gonna earn all your money from this really good game.
Knowing I had full support from my friends, my next job was to make a little podium for which you could buy the game pass with. So I went into Blender and made a little crown and added it on top of a golden pillar so that you could buy it. That was just the model. I had to get Gemini to give me a script that would prompt the Game Pass purchase, as well as another script that would make it rotate while moving up and down. Now that I had a working Game Pass, I needed to put it into the game so you could actually get some benefits from buying it. But once again, Storm came in clutch and gave me a great idea. His idea was to take the torch and make it golden, and then take the area around it and just make it bigger. And after one quick prompt, the AI churned out what we needed, a golden torch. Anyway, the new golden torch gave you an extended range so you could see objects from further as well as obstacles that were in your way. And this would become even more useful as the next AI suggestions both involved a large open map. And after an amount of time I don't even want to admit, I got it working. I got screwed over by the fact that I didn't know I needed to accept the terms of Gemini before it would keep my previous chats, which meant that all the info that the AI needed it just didn't have. But now that the previous systems were implemented onto the new assets, I could finally make the puzzle work. But I had so many bugs that I didn't even know were possible. Firstly, I just had this part like flying towards the camera every time you moved it. But at least you could place it back down again. And then I just had the wall like instantly flying up, and you could just jump straight through it. I didn't even know what the issue could be. But after hours of just reading the output, I could finally get the answer I needed. And so when I went to the game, you could pick up both the blocks and place them where they needed to be, and it would open the door with a nice little tween. I thought I'd make the game a little bit longer, so I asked the AI for another puzzle that I could add. But this time it asked me to make constellations in which you pull stars into the middle. And funnily enough, it worked straight away. I could literally just pull the stars into the positions they were meant to. Although it did use the same mechanics as the original puzzle, it gave a different outcome which could give a funnier ending. but with both of the puzzles done, I had everything I needed to finish off the game. But wait! Do you remember these clips from earlier? Well, Storm and I are making a grow a garden type game, but we've decided to make it a community project. While we already have some awesome people working on it, if you have any skills and would like to help, please do join the Discord server in the description below and send us a message. When I first got the model, I wasn't too impressed. There were loads of little issues with the gears and the cogs to make it look like there was maybe tears in the gear. But when I textured it, it looked a lot better and a lot cleaner, and kind of disguised the little imperfections. But I didn't want it to be grey, and I kind of wanted it to be rusty, so I put it into Photopea and made a custom texture, which I could then add into Studio. But after a little while of just generating more assets, I had compiled everything I needed to use within the game.
2,000 years later.
So after a little bit of off-camera building, I finally had a base for which I could make the level on, and after a quick lighting change, I was done. There was one more level that I had to do, but that's for you to play the game and find out. Link in description. But now it was done. I looked back on everything I had made, and I was proud that I finally managed to get AI to make an entire game. Okay, here it is, what you've all been waiting for, the pyramid of AI and my official ranking on how they perform. On the bottom, there is me. I thought I put in a good shift, but I'm not an AI, so. Next, we have DeepSeek. Honestly, did nothing for me, took way too long, nothing really seemed to work. I begged, and I could never get anything done with it. Unfortunately, next we have Tripo. The models took way too long to get because there were all sorts of issues with the website, and even once I finally got them, most of them were low quality and didn't really look how I wanted them to be. Up into the second row now, we have ChatGPT. I got some decent results, but I didn't do too much with it, and so that's really what brought it down. I probably could have done a bit more, but you know, we have to see. Next, we have Meshy. While there were some limitations with having to pay for kind of better features, it really did the job and I got most of what I needed to do. So that was really useful. But that means the undisputed GOAT of AI is Gemini. I got most of what I needed to do really easily, and it made some of the most complex scripts that I ever used in this game. I found it really easy to work with, and most of the time I got a fix pretty quickly. There was only occasional issues, but by far the best out of all the AI. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and please go check out the game, check out the Grow a Garden server, as well as Storm's channel, because he just released a banger video.